because I wanted to wait till I was 100% happy with where my body was and my health was, so that the end of this video is like a positive. Also, it's a really overwhelming video to make, especially because my health and fitness journey started 6 years ago, so that's a really long time. I've been through a lot, and I sort of just like didn't want to plan it. I didn't want to have to like think about what I was going to talk about. So today I was like, screw it, I haven't planned anything. I haven't even organized what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to be completely honest with you guys in this video and tell you all the hardships I went through, the ups and downs of my fitness journey, and how I got to where I am today. So if you want to hear all that, keep watching. From a young age, I was always super skinny, super athletic, and I could eat anything. My metabolism was off the chain. In primary school and in the early years of high school, I actually got pulled aside by a few teachers asking if I had an eating disorder because I was so skinny. And my friends would just laugh because it was a joke how much I could eat. Like, when my mum would make us food on the dinner table, she would make me and my dad the same portion size, and then my sisters and my mum would get a small size. Like, when we would get McDonald's as a family, I would eat so much McDonald's. I would order like 2 burgers and nuggets and chips and a sundae. I could just down everything. So on one side, yes, that had to do with my fast metabolism and my genetics, but on the other side, I was a really active kid. So I was burning through a lot of kilojoules or calories, so I had to eat a lot to maintain my lifestyle as a child. So in high school, I continued to eat like that. I just could eat anything I wanted. In year 10 is where everything started to go wrong. So in year 10, I quit dancing and I had quit acrobatics, so at that point I was doing no exercise. Year 10 is the year I also got my period. So if you want to know all about my skin and my hormones, watch this video here. That's my hormonal acne video. But basically, year 10 is when everything went to shit. At the start of year 10, I was like 45 kilos, and by the end of year 10, I was 57, and I had lost muscle. So you know that muscle weighs more than fat, so for me to put on over 10 kilos and have lost muscle, like, I was chunk. I was not supposed to be that chunky. I'm very petite, I'm supposed to be small, so that was not healthy for me at all. And I was eating McDonald's, KFC, Subway. I was obsessed with Subway, and me and my best friend at the time, if she watches this, she'll know who she is. We were obsessed with these sour strap candies, and I would sleep over hers like every single weekend, and every single sleepover we would get fried rice, salt and vinegar chips, and those sour straps, and we would just eat them. We would eat them for dinner. Like, it was disgusting. We were just obsessed with junk food. The end of year 10 is also when I started to get into drinking. Like, I thought I was really cool. Me and my friends would go to parties and drink and stuff like that, and my body does not respond well to drinking. I don't really think anyone's body responds well to drinking, so that's sort of a cop-out. But that really made me put on the kilos as well, and I would wake up the next day and feel like crap. And not that I could go anywhere or do anything because I didn't have a car, but the weight just started to pile on. My skin was disgusting and it was bad. Then one day, it was like on MySpace or something. Facebook hadn't originated then. On MySpace, I saw a picture of myself and I was like, is that me? That can't be me. I remember looking at it and just crying because I didn't realize I was that big, or I didn't realize I looked like that. Like, in my head, I was still that skinny, lanky year 7 girl with like beautiful skin and beautiful hair. And I just was like, no, how did this happen? Like, I was always this like skinny ballerina. Why am I a heffalump with acne now? It's not cool. So I think I just complained about it for like the whole of year 11, and I would just didn't educate myself and I didn't change anything. I kept eating the same and the weight kept coming on. So then by the start of year 12, I was like, no, I'm over this. I want to look good and be happy with my body for schoolies. I don't really think Americans do schoolies, but it's basically like spring break. So when you finish year 12, when you graduate, you go on a big holiday with all of your school friends. So for the whole of year 12, I told myself I'm going to get healthy. I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about exercise. So I just sort of copied people. Like, people would say, oh, carbs are bad. And I go, okay, what's a carb? I don't really know. I would look on the back of food labels and see if there was like lots of carbs. I didn't even know what a lot of carbs were. I would just look at a packet of chips, and if there was 20 carbs in there, I was like, okay, I'm guessing that's bad. And then I would see like another bar with like 60 grams of carbs. I'm like, okay, well, that's really bad if the chips are 20 carbs. So I really had no clue, but all I really did was try to stick to real food and lower my carbs. I started to see results like that, and I started slimming down a little bit, so I wanted to up the ante and I started running. So I would just go on like walks or slow jogs around my neighborhood. I never really enjoyed it. I've never been a runner. At this point, people started commenting saying, oh, you're looking good, like you're looking healthy. and that really got to my head and I wanted to speed it up even more. And this is when things started to get a little bit dangerous, I guess. I took the carb thing way too far, and because I hadn't educated myself, I didn't really know what a good carb is and what a bad carb is and how different carbohydrates are processed by the body. I couldn't see that it was happening, but now that I look back, I cringe, and I never want to say, oh, I had an eating disorder, or, you know, I don't want to cry wolf, because I don't want to feel sorry for myself, but looking back, I was pretty messed up. Like, some of the things that I would do. I remember this one time, it was one of my best friend's birthday, and we went out to this pizza joint. At this point, I didn't know I was gluten intolerant either, and I was still eating gluten and dairy. We had all this pizza spread, and I pretended that I ate beforehand because I didn't want to eat the carbs, because I knew that pizza bases were carbs. So I didn't eat anything at dinner. Like, I didn't eat anything. And at this point, I was still drinking because it was like party vibes, and I was still drinking nearly every weekend because it was like someone's 18th. And in Australia, you can drink when you're 18. And I remember that night, I drank so much vodka, and I never get sick. Like, I'm never like one to be sick. And I was sick that night. And I remember waking up in the morning saying, something's not okay. Like, who goes out and drinks disgusting amounts of vodka and doesn't eat beforehand? It was not cool. So at that point, I was pretty skinny, but I like to call it skinny fat. I had absolutely no muscle mass. I had no strength. I couldn't do anything. I had no energy. I didn't really understand calories. I basically just ate fruit, vegetables, and meat. And while that was like a healthy diet, I was scared of so many foods, and I was like small, as in I was skinny, but I was like squishy. It was really hard to explain. So even if my stomach was small, you could squish it. It had like no tone. I wasn't toned, I wasn't lean at all. I couldn't do anything. It was bad. Also, throughout school, I was on the pill, so that was really making me hold on to weight, and then if I went off the pill, I would lose weight. So everything was just fluctuating like crazy, and I couldn't maintain a solid body weight or a body look, and it was just like annoying me. All right, a big chunk of this video is going to be from 2012 to 2015. So everything I'm talking about right now is that gap. After school, everything changed. I was a completely different person at school. I was friends with the wrong crowd, did the wrong things. I just was not a good person. So when I left school, I sort of made the decision to live by this motto, your vibe attracts your tribe, and I wasn't giving off a good vibe, so therefore I wasn't attracting a good tribe, and I just wasn't happy with the person that I was. So once school finished, I completely revamped my whole life, and I really started researching about health and fitness, educated myself on the importance of healthy fats, the right kind of carbohydrates and proteins, and I had a really, really healthy diet. So this was like the first year out of school, so like 2011. And at this point, I had lost heaps of weight and I was looking really healthy. Again, I was a little bit squishy, like I only really ran, and at home I would do some Pilates or some ballet exercises that I could remember from my childhood. At that point, a lot of my friends were asking me what I was doing because they said like I had a glow about me or I was looking really healthy. So I decided to make Sarah's Day, which is my Instagram. So Sarah's_day if you don't follow me, which is like my YouTube, same thing. That was really good for a while, and I was eating a very balanced diet. I didn't overthink it. I just ate intuitively, listened to my body, went for a few runs, did a few push-ups, and that was about it. I obviously started following all these fitness Instagrammers, and I saw their Instagrams and I was like, you guys are so shredded. Like, I felt chubby and I felt like a noob, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such an amateur. Why did I make this Instagram? Look at these girls with their crazy abs and their quads, and they're doing chin-ups. I couldn't even do a freaking push-up. So at that point, I was determined. I was like, I'm gonna change my body. I'm gonna be one of those Instagram girls. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. And that was a downward spiral. I tried every diet possible. The first thing I did was become vegan, and not just regular vegan, I became raw vegan. I'm a person, it's like go hard or go home. Like, I can't say, oh, I'm just gonna have a little bit of chocolate. Like, I'm gonna have the whole block or I'm gonna have none. So I went raw vegan because I saw all these Instagrammers and they were so skinny and lean and toned and beautiful skin, and I was like, if I'm raw vegan, I'll look like that. So I was vegan for, I'm gonna say like 10 months, and I was raw vegan for 3 months. Raw vegan was a little too hard, and I started going raw vegan in winter, which was the dumbest decision ever because you can't cook your food. So I was freezing and I just wanted like a hot bowl of something and I would just be like eating a stick of celery. No, but honestly, props to the raw vegans out there, or the vegans. You can have amazing vegan meals. Like, I have vegan meals all the time. My favorite desserts are raw vegan desserts. Like, I'm not hating at all. And 100% I know this works for people. But for me and my hormones and for my way of living, it just did not work at all. Being raw vegan, I felt like I lost all of my muscle mass. So even though I was still like a small human, I was really squishy. I know I keep saying this, but like, I was never big. I was never a big human. I'm not supposed to be a big human, but I just had no muscle at all, and it was just all fat. Everything I had on me was just fat, and my skin actually broke out more and my hair fell out, and I always felt like I was getting sick. Like, I always felt like I was at the start of a sickness. My throat was sore. I felt lethargic. I had no energy. And when I became vegan, I actually signed up to a gym and I had no energy to even go. Believe me, I was eating like buckets of bananas and dates and coconut and everything, and I just had no energy and no muscle mass and just no motivation for anything. So then I went searching for the perfect solution for me. I was determined to be shredded. I wanted abs, I wanted to look like one of those fit girls, and I came across a lot of Instagrammers that I'm not going to name, but I came across a lot of them. They were all about the bro science way. So chicken, rice, sweet potato, that kind of thing. And that's when I found bodybuilding.com. It's a really great website, like, it's full of really good information, but just don't take it too literally and don't get too obsessed with it, because you'll start bulking accidentally, like this says. And my boyfriend at the time was like in the bodybuilding phase, and so he said to me, he was like, veganism isn't working for you. He was really supportive, like, he was so beautiful, very, very supportive. But he was like, I really think you need some chicken, or you really need some protein. If you want these goals, you have to eat this, this, this. And on one side he had a point, but on the other side, he was double the size of me. Like, if I was 50 kilos, he was like almost 100 kilos, and I would match what he ate. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I went onto bodybuilding.com and I put in all my stats, and it gave me like this diet plan. So it sort of got me in the mentality. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not eating enough food. I need all this food to get lean and get to my goals. And I got into this bodybuilding mentality. So I didn't fully follow that meal plan, but I followed that philosophy where it's like, you eat every 2 hours, you eat the bro science food, you have your whey protein, you get your protein shakes in, you have your chicken, broccoli, rice, sweet potato, sneaky low carb additive filled protein bars. And at the same time I was doing this, I also switched up my workout routine to like a hashtag bodybuilding style, where it's like really heavy squats and like heavy bench press and like lift heavy weights. Ah! Safe to say, I didn't look great. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we would go out to get food, and I had a really big appetite, so I could match what he ate. And we would eat the same thing. That is so messed up, because if I'm 50 kilos and I have like X amount of muscle mass, he's 100 kilos and has X amount of muscle mass. I don't need the same amount of food as him. We'd make our breakfast together. We were like that fit couple, but not really, because I swear we were both like fluffy AF and just like thought we were living this bodybuilding dream, and it was just like embarrassing. I was strong. I could like lift a lot of weight, or I could squat a lot, but I just looked so manly. For me and what I like to look like and what my body physique is like supposed to thrive on, it just was not conducive to that kind of style of living. My mum is so beautiful. Like, she lets me do me. But when I was in this bodybuilding stage, she was like, what are you doing? What are you doing at the gym? And I was like, oh, like, you know, lifting heavy weights and doing shoulders and back today. What are you doing? She was like, you're a little bit bulky. And I was like, what? I looked in the mirror and I was like, she's right, I am bulky AF. So at that point I was like, okay, maybe I'm eating the right kind of foods, maybe I'm working out correctly, maybe I'm just eating too much food. That's when I started If It Fits Your Macros, so IIFYM. So basically it's all about numbers. Food is a number game, which for lots of individuals, including myself, is very dangerous for your mental stability. And in my opinion, you forget how to listen to your body. You forget what hunger feels like, or what being full feels like. Or if you're like, I feel like my body needs some more healthy sugars, I'm gonna go have a banana. I feel like if you do If It Fits Your Macros for way too long, you lose that sense to listen to your body and understand what it needs at the time. That is when I became really unhealthy, in the fact that I was all about calories. So I was fueling my body with artificial sweeteners like stevia. Oh my gosh, if you guys follow my vlogs, you guys know I was obsessed with stevia. And I know that there's research saying that stevia decreases your sweet cravings or it helps suppress your appetite. I call BS on that. 100% I call BS. It would make me so hungry. Like I couldn't satisfy my sweet tooth the more I had. I was having heaps of protein bars, protein shakes, egg whites, and hardly any fat. I was literally eating no fat because when you're counting calories, fat is worth double the amount of calories than carbs and protein. Like I was still a bulky human. Sure, if I stuck to the calories I was supposed to, I'm sure I would have lost weight, but I just could not satisfy my cravings. I was always craving something sweet, so I would have like a protein shake, and then I was craving something more, so I'd have a protein bar, and I always felt sick. So even though I still wasn't eating gluten, there's lots of products like dextrose and other additives that do a similar thing in your digestion and in your intestines that gluten does. So I came to the decision that IIFYM was not working for me because I just felt like a sham. Like Sarah's Day was always about listening to your body, eating real food. Before I continue, no hate to If It Fits Your Macros. I know it works. I've got friends that look amazing. I'm just saying for me and my mental state and my way of living, it just didn't work for me. So one day I decided to stop. I was like, stop everything you're doing, just sit down, digest. What do you want to feel like? What do you want to look like? When you're older, what's a way that you can eat and train that is maintainable and that you're proud of? Like I was never proud to tell people that I was having a protein bar for my snack. So I remember sitting on my bed and I was like, I want to be one of those women who eat real food, who care about where their food comes from, who cooks from scratch, who is all about that healthy, holistic living, you know, all about natural way of life. And in terms of training, I want to be like a ninja, be doing cool handstands and flips and just be really agile. I want my body to be like a machine. And at that point I was like, well, nothing I'm really doing is getting me to those goals. So I'm just gonna stop and go way back to basics. Because I went back to like #Bible days and I was like, in my opinion, humans were made to thrive off vegetables, fruit, and meat. So simple, so basic. And we were given these feelings like hunger and cravings and the sense of being full for a reason. So I was like, maybe I should like do something super crazy and listen to my body. So I made that decision and I also changed my training style. I became very, very functional. So I would like just try to like jump up and grab onto bars and pull myself up or do some burpees or do some sprints, do some jump squats. Everything was very like fast paced moving. So I didn't care about how many weights I was lifting. I didn't care about numbers of any sort, numbers of food, numbers of weights. I didn't care. It was all about having fun in the gym. If I felt like doing handstands all day, I would do handstands all day. I also educated myself more on the importance of fats and how especially like omega-3 fatty acids are imperative to balancing your hormones and giving you good skin and good hair. So at the end of last year, which was 2015, I really started to put this mentality into action. It's when I became single, I feel like I had myself to focus on and I wanted to make a change and just be happy within myself, and I didn't have anyone deterring me, I didn't have anyone influencing me. So when I became single, I was like, I'm gonna be selfish and just focus on myself and do everything to make myself happy. So if that was the only positive thing that came out of my breakup, so be it, but I'm the healthiest I've ever been. So for the past 8 to 9 months, this is what I've been doing. Not that I go off weight, I don't really care about the scale, but I've lost 5 kilos, which I'll put the pounds here, I don't really know what the pounds are, but I've lost 5 kilos. I'm the smallest I've ever been, really. I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm the leanest I've ever been. This is the best my skin's ever been. But anyway, I'm so happy with everything and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I've been doing and how I'm getting these results. All right, let's start with the most important factor in my opinion, which is nutrition. So I do eat a paleo-based diet. That doesn't mean to say that I'm paleo, it's just majority of my meals are paleo. I am gluten-free and dairy-free, however, I do have goat's products, but if I'm craving something like oats or quinoa or goat's yogurt or some rice, I listen to my body and I have that, because in my opinion, if your body is craving, let's just say your body is craving oats and you say, no, I can't have oats because I'm paleo, and so you have some nuts instead. That's not really gonna satisfy your craving. It might, but for me, if my body's craving oats, I'm craving oats, and nothing will satisfy that until I have the oats. So I'm lucky now that I've been eating healthy for so long that my taste buds don't really crave unhealthy foods. So for you guys, you say like, oh, why is your cheat meal fruit and nut mix. It's because I honestly crave fruit and nut mix. Like, I don't crave unhealthy foods. I do focus on a higher fat diet. I don't need a high fat diet. I just make sure that I have a healthy fat in pretty much every single meal. So for breakfast, I either have an omelette or I have a smoothie or poached eggs on toast, and I always have a healthy fat, which in all of those meals, it's either the egg yolk or avocado or both. For my snacks, I snack on fruit. I snack a lot on fruit. So if you're a person that's currently having stevia or, you know, artificial sweeteners, just try to put fruit back into your diet, and I swear that your sweet cravings will disappear or decrease dramatically. So I snack a lot on bananas. They're my favorite. Bananas are my favorite. Strawberries, blueberries, and fruit and nut mix, which is my holy grail. I love fruit and nut mix. Recently, one of my favorite snacks has been mixing like a little bowl of oats, goat's yogurt, fruit and nut mix, and like my fruit and nut mix isn't just like almonds and sultanas. It's like honey roasted macadamias, cranberries, goji berries, mulberries, coconut flakes, cacao nibs. Like, it's a freaking gourmet fruit and nut mix, let me tell you. So I mix all that together with some coconut sugar. It's amazing. Also, a big thing that I feel like has helped me and my digestion and my stomach fat is changing my protein powder. I stopped having whey protein and I swapped to a pea protein. As you guys know, I have Tropica pea protein, and I feel like that makes my abs lean pretty much all the time. Like, I never really have that bloated feeling. But yeah, I feel like swapping from whey protein to pea protein was a massive positive in my physique. So give that a go. Lunchtime is basically when I get all my micronutrients in. So I have a huge salad and I fill my plate with vegetables. Oh, and one of the best tips I have is I used to saute all my vegetables and have that for lunch, and then I swapped to raw vegetables, and I feel like that just made a massive difference. Number one, yes, it filled me up more. Number two, I feel like it was higher in micronutrients and it just gave me a glow, and I don't know, it just made me get leaner really quickly. If I feel like sauteed vegetables, I'll have that, but I'm more relying on that for dinner. So for lunchtime, it's very raw, and I normally put like tuna on top or eggs or salmon, barramundi, normally a fish, and then I put either flaxseed oil or some avocado as my healthy fat on top. And then before dinner, I'll normally have another snack, which is like a banana chocolate smoothie, because at like 3 o'clock, I think everyone has like a little sweet tooth. And then for dinner, it's just very simple. Like, I will have some barramundi or, you know, some chicken, just like any source of protein with vegetables on the side. And like I said, if I'm craving rice or quinoa, I'll have that too. And then every night I have dessert. I'm gonna be full on legit with you guys. I pretty much have fruit and nut mix, shocker, or fruit for dessert. Super simple, but very easily replicatable, which is awesome because you guys can do the same. So I'm just trying to eat in a way that is maintainable, and I could eat this way for the rest of my life. As far as fitness goes, again, I'm totally listening to my body. Sundays I go to the gym and I just do handstands, legit, like I'll just do handstands. Other days I will do sprints on the stair machine. I do a lot of functional training, so it's very plyometric HIIT based. So I'll do lots of burpees, jump squats, push-ups, just things with my body weight. I don't really have to use a lot of weights. For my arms and my legs, I find it really hard to lean it out. So if you're the same, I would honestly try yoga, specifically like hot yogi, like a vinyasa power yoga. I find that when I start doing yoga again and I sign up to classes, my arms are like, they really lean out a lot. So I've been doing a lot of yoga lately. Just my strength at the gym, like I can do chin-ups now. Like, that was unheard of years ago. I was like such a weakling, so I'm very proud of myself. But anyway, I don't know if this was an error that I didn't organize this video and like plan what I wanted to say, but I hope I got across what I wanted to and you guys learned something from this video and you come out of this video feeling really positive and feeling like you can do it as well, because I swear there is no secret. Like, on Instagram, there's these shredded girls and you're like, what is your secret? Like, what are you doing? There has to be a hack to look like that. And I'm not saying that I'm what you want to look like, or I'm not saying that I'm the ideal body type or anything like that, but I'm just saying I'm so happy, and I would love if you guys felt as happy and as content as I did with your healthy eating and fitness lifestyle. And for me, it's just really about balance, listening to your body, not overcomplicating it, and getting back to basics. Like, it's all about basics. There's no one size fits all rule for health and fitness for everyone, in my opinion. So find out what works for you and just live in a way that makes you happy and you feel fulfilled and you feel true to yourself. I could talk about this for hours, but I'm gonna wrap up this video now. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this video a like if you did, because it really supports my channel and I can make more videos like this. If you have any questions, leave them below.